morning, community. Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Have we got an exciting, special spiritual show for you today? We'll give the I Was Blind, but Now I See show. I have a dear sister of mine who's going to be doing the show with me this morning. And we're going to be discussing spiritual things. The main topic is right here. Let me pull up on screen. This is going to be a topic. What we believe we meet reality. So without further ado, let me introduce you to my dear sister, Lynn Sanders.
Hello,
Hello.
Aaron. Thank you for having me here, Aaron. I really appreciate it.
What a blessing for me to have you here with me, because you, me, and Joel, which is your husband, have really experienced the spiritual reality of being bound by spirituality, a spiritual energy. There's a connection between you and me and Joel that is something that's really special.
That is very true. And our friend Roland Takaoka, who brought us together years ago. That was really special.
You know, it's funny you mentioned Rome because I can almost feel him here today. Really.
Yeah, I think what it comes down to, Aaron, which we share, is that we all are connected at an energetic level beyond the physical. So even though you and I have never met in person, we're very connected. And that's why you can call me sister, I can call you brother, because in the heart we are connected. And you all can realize that.
See, I have learned in this journey because I'm Sherry, this is not Dr. Sullivan. That's why she thinks there's somebody else. But she typed in it, yeah. But I've been on your journey to called stroke. And a lot of times people, and I'm going to bring up that thing we're talking about this morning. There was a movie done by Walt Disney called The Lion King. And it was where Simba was actually the king, but he didn't realize it. He began to realize, so he began to run back to his kingdom because he began to realize what in his mind. He began to realize who he was. Halfway through the field, running back to finally realizing who he was. But Vicky, the spiritual orangutan, met him in the field, took his cane, whacked him so hard in the head. And Civic, ow, that hurt. And the spiritual Vicky said, oh, yes, the past can hurt. But you can either run from it or learn from it. And the stroke, I'm going to speak to stroke survivors out there. You can either run from your stroke or learn from it. And that's true for you, Lynn. You can either run the hard time life has, deals us, or learn from them. But everything that happens in life is for a reason. I truly believe that. There are
Yes.
no ways.
And for your stroke community, even though I personally didn't have a stroke, as you know, my son, or our son Andrew, had a stroke about 4 years ago.
How
And
was
he was 25, he's now 29, and it was a total shock. But just as you said, we can learn from every experience. And so I wanted to share with your community 3 different upheavals that happened in my life that all really gave me the lesson that we are energy beings and that we can heal from the inside out. We
right?
don't necessarily realize it, but we can reach out. So if that's all right, Aaron, I'd like to just kind of condense the 3 things which culminated with my son having the stroke, which to me was the most devastating out of the 3. But the 3 major upheavals in my life happened to be the sudden passing of my mother from a heart attack, December 16, 2004. My own near-death experience at the Denver airport where I had a ruptured appendix and didn't realize it because I was misdiagnosed at a hospital. And my mother came to me in a dream afterwards. And I believe her spirit saved me at the airport because the flight was canceled 3 times at the gate. And last but not least, a few days, just 4 years ago, the sudden stroke of my son, where he was unconscious for 3 days. And even though I had already endured my mother's sudden passing and my own near death, having my son lying there unconscious for 3 days taught me that I had to reach out to some other unseen force, energy, and ask everyone I knew to pray for him and send positive, loving energy. And he recovered and he's doing much, much better. So just to give you a little snapshot, you kind of got the whole picture, but with my mother's passing, I learned an important lesson, and that is that inner reflects outer. So if you're going through a lot of inner turmoil right now, which is really easy to do, whether it's fear, anxiety, nervousness, anger, frustration, I want you to be aware of those feelings and see if you can somehow calm yourself, put yourself in a calming space, because that inner negativity will affect you physically in some way. In the case of my mother's sudden passing, which was a shock for our whole family, I got a call at 11:20 at night from my brother Mark that my mother just suddenly had a heart attack out of the blue. And 15 minutes later, I learned she didn't make it. And it was such a shock, Aaron, that I closed my eyes, I was wailing, and I felt like I was sinking into a deep, dark pit, and my heart was being pulled from my body. I could actually feel pain. And what happened afterwards was I didn't even know if I wanted to go on living. I was feeling so horrible. And as a result, my back had 3 slip discs. I went to doctors who said I was a good candidate for surgery. I went to other practitioners, but no one could help me until I found an energy healer, believe it or not. And I didn't even believe it, who went through a process where I went through a process of really loving myself and wanting to live again. I remember my mother's email to me before she passed away. I was grieving the death of a close friend who had died 6 weeks earlier of a heart attack. And my mother had sent me 3 emails to comfort me, which served as a comfort later. And one of those emails said, at some point, Lynn, you've got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and go and face the world. Was that something?
Yeah,
And so I thought, okay, I've got to pull myself up. And the energy healer even said to me, Lynn, would your mother want you to live like this? Because you could be dead on the inside and not happy. And I realized that to honor my mother, I really needed to live fully. So you think I learned that lesson, right? But basically, a few years later, I had a ruptured appendix, and I was misdiagnosed in Colorado. And I ironically had created a video with 3 colleagues called Things You Should Know Before Entering the Hospital, because medical errors and unnecessary infections is still one of the leading causes of death. So I had gone to the hospital the night before. We were on a family vacation, and I told the doctors on staff I thought I had food poisoning. They believed me. They didn't check it out. And they gave me little white pills and said, take these, and if you don't feel better, you can come back in the morning. But all I remembered was, take these little white pills. Because what I had learned from doing my film was that when you are in extreme pain, you don't think clearly. And you need an advocate with you at a hospital. But my husband was too involved and concerned about me that he also wasn't thinking clearly. So I want to advise everyone, if you're in extreme pain, do not board an airplane. Obvious, right? But I was in extreme pain, and I was planning to go on that airplane, doubled over. And the flight was canceled 3 times. And I mean, can you believe it? My rabbi says things happen in threes. They're meant, that's a higher reason for that. And after the 3rd time, I lowered myself to the floor and called out to my husband, I can't make it. And then closed my eyes. And before I knew it, the paramedic was there saying, you know, it looks like you have appendicitis, but you don't fit the profile. And I remember opening my eyes saying, well, what's the profile? And he said, well, you're supposed to be younger. I said, okay. But they took me by ambulance to the hospital. I had emergency surgery and I was in so much pain. I really didn't care again if I lived or not, but I made it through. And then my husband and sons had to go back home during that week of recovery. And in the hospital, I was so uncomfortable. I was praying for my mom just to be with me, to keep me company. And she came in two dreams. And in one of those dreams, she sang a beautiful song to me with words that are the opening words were from the Bible. And I didn't consciously know these words, but they are, "This is the day that God hath made." And I
Oh,
found out later that's from the Bible. And she basically wanted me to know that I needed to appreciate every day. So I thought, you know what, she's right. I've got to just really appreciate what I'm doing. And then I started thinking about even changing my company name from Park Avenue Productions to Difference Makers Media. And then you'd think I had enough lessons, right? But the last one was the stroke lesson, and that's why I'm here with you. I had been doing a program with our friend Roland Takaoka, and he met me online after doing a show. And one day, it was on a Sunday, my husband and I went out to the gym, and we came back, and our son called out to us from upstairs. I didn't hear it. My husband heard it, and he couldn't walk well all of a sudden. And he said he didn't feel well, and he couldn't move his feet very well. And so I, again, didn't know what to do. I should have called 911, and I thought, well, we'll just drive him to the hospital. Again, these are lessons I learned. If you're in a really critical state, call the ambulance. Because if you go by car to the emergency room, they don't admit you right away because they don't know it's urgent. So we drove to the hospital and we go to the front desk, and my son had to be in a wheelchair. He couldn't even walk from the car. And I was frantic. So I said to the woman behind the desk, please, please, you've got to get my son in right away. So she's, kind of, so-so. And they have, my son comes up and they said, okay, when's your birthday? And he didn't remember. Then they said, well, who's the president? And he didn't know. So I thought, uh-oh, this is really bad. And the next day he went unconscious for 3 days.
what did
And so
how
then
was he?
he was 25. So, I had gone through these other two major upheavals, but I thought, no, not my son. He can't go. I can't be without him. And so I thought, I knew that energy is so important. And I asked everyone I knew to pray for him. And I found a site online. A friend of mine told me about it. I think it's called caringbridges.org, where you can keep a personal journal of a family emergency so everyone doesn't have to see it. And I share what was going on day by day. And people sent loving energy. And by the third day, he woke up. And then through the power of positive energy and love and prayers, he was able to recuperate. And now he walks fine. He speaks well. He still sometimes has little memory issues, but he's doing really well. And he's at college, at Lake Forest College, and applying for a master's degree. So I just wanted to share those three important stories with your audience to let you all be aware that everything starts on the inside. Don't ever say negatives to yourself because you're programming yourself with negative words, which have a frequency that can affect you physically. I want you to all think of how to frame something in a positive way because our bodies listen to our minds. Your thoughts create reality.
What you do, Lynn, as I've told you before, that a lot of what I've been on a spiritual journey. For me, stroke has been a spiritual journey. The brain aneurysm and stroke were not the game changer for me. It was my near-death experience. It made me. Then this is why I was blind, but now I see, because of the opening of the mind, opening of the spirituality of the truth of life, and you speak about hard times in life. And as you know, I'm a stroke survivor, so I'm going to apply this, and it really applies to both stroke and non-stroke people. That Oprah Winfrey says it the best. bad things happen for you, not to you. And it's really true that I have learned to embrace my stroke. I've learned to take those hard times and learn from them.
You are a model, Erin. I think you are such an exemplary model because so many people would want to just give up if they're physically not doing well, you know? And you put your positive thoughts first to show others that they can do whatever they put their minds to do. I just love what you're doing.
It's amazing, Dwayne Dwyer, Dwayne Dwyer, extremely spiritual man, spiritual icon. He says, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at will change. I'm going to say that once because I think
Good.
it's important. Because if everybody needs it, you can alter your reality. And here's how: change the way you look at things, and things you look at will change. And that's right in our topic.
Yeah,
If
that's
you
very
could, you're right. If you can change the way you look at your situations, in your case, your mom died, your son having a stroke, my case, me having a stroke, just they appear to be bad. Just change the way you look at that situation.
right. Right. Everything is perspective. So it's very hard to look at something negative and try to find the positive. But if you can find the lesson from it, the gift, then you have a whole different outlook, right?
Right? And it's just amazing. I have seen you and I both knew Roland. Roland had got out such a profound hold up his book. Yeah, his book.
Yeah, this is the book I published for Roland after he passed away. And he wrote this memoir while half of his body was paralyzed, his whole right half. I don't know if you could see it there.
What's the name of the book, Lynn?
It's called Roland's Story, Inspired by a Stroke. It's a memoir of hope. I can't get that. Hope, healing, and transformation. And he originally called his memoir Adventures in Rehab, but it's really much more than his adventures in the hospital rehab. It's all about his transformation when he was in a hospital and rehab after a third stroke, which paralyzed his right side, and his recognition that we choose our emotions in life and we can choose to expand in joy. And that's just what he did. He touched everyone. Yeah, thank you,
Right.
Chris. Yeah, he touched everyone's life with joy. Most people never knew he was sitting in a wheelchair behind the camera because you can't see the wheelchair when you're sitting. And yet he was so positive and made people laugh and smile that he affected people all over the world. And that's why I felt committed as his friend to publish his memoir, which just came out last November. And you could all check out the book and what it's about. It. His name is Roland, Roland, Takaoka, Takaoka. And then I put .com. It's
And
also
I'll
on.
put the link. What I'll do is when I upload this show to YouTube, I'll put a link to the book because if I was to pick one person in my life, all my life, that had the biggest impact is Roland. He had probably the biggest. He was used by the universe to take my near-death experience and tie it into today, reality of today. And that's kind of what we're talking about. Is that Roland helped me to understand the transition between I knew my near death experience was real, but then how it applied to my current life isn't it's just my life changing.
Well, now you've got me wondering about your near-death experience, if you want to share that. Or if you wanted to say one more thing about Roland that I would like to say to you. You know, you and I know, and many people listening know this, that we don't just live on this physical plane, and that our lives, our spirits continue on beyond this time frame, that our spirits live on after Roland's passing. And I write about this in the preface, that same day that I learned he passed away. And I was just totally, devastated. Again, I went to a very dear friend's home and I just to cry. And I went outside to call my husband, and the phone rang, and a butterfly flew on my wrist and stayed there. What happened there? A butterfly just sat and stayed for about a minute, and I knew it was Roland's spirit letting me know that he was okay. And so I love to hear about your experience. You said you had a near death experience. If you want to share it, if you feel it would be
Yeah,
relevant, because
I'll put a link. What I'll do is I'll put a link into the app when I upload it to YouTube. Put a link to my near-death experience because I was intense, Lynn. It was really intense. But I think what it did mostly for me, my near-death experience, made me realize that we are not on a physical plane. Everything in our life, everything you see, right down the wooden desk, right down to anything you see in your life, your body in the mirror is energy. It means proven fact that the piece of wood you see is not just a piece of wood. It's formed of many atom molecules formed together in a structure that becomes a piece of wood. Everything in life is energy.
exactly.
So what I kind of want to talk about a little bit, I think that's part of what opened my eyes up. I began to see that life wasn't what you see with your eyes. It was what you don't see. That's real, more real than that piece of wood or whatever. Because as
Right.
you said earlier, we are eternal spiritual beings learning to live inside a human body.
Exactly.
Really?
Yes, that's why we can be connected with loved ones, whether we live close or far away, because our spirits are close. And that's why we're affected physically when we are thinking negative thoughts or positive thoughts. Hi, Marcia. This is so wonderful we can do this live. But yeah, we all are connected. And so once we realize that, we can intentionally put out positive thoughts and send healing energy to our loved ones, right?
That alter our reality. That's
Exactly.
what's mind blowing to me is that what Roland, when he was alive, was teaching me that I'm gonna bring this up on screen with us. Hold on. Because it's really our main topic. What we believe we meet reality. Meaning, if you put the energy out, the positive energy in your life during even those negative times, during stroke, during losing your house, during a financial crisis, whatever it is, if you can learn to realize it's all energy and you can actually flip it by creating that that realization that it's how you perceive it. I had a great spiritual mentor of mine tell me that this it's not what they think of you that matters. It's what you think of you that matters.
Oh, that's powerful. That is so true, Aaron.
And I see that if you're watching this video, it's not what they think of you that will change your life. If you listen to them, it can lead you down a place that isn't your destiny, spiritual destiny. But if you listen to me and I'm speaking the truth. If you change the way if you change the way you look at yourself, your situation. Lynn and I just spoke about. She was going through her mom's death, her son's stroke. I'm going through my stroke, along with the cataclysmic ripple effect that comes that way with stroke. But we back up, we lean back, and we realize it is far greater than that. I shared a party about Rafiki and Simba. I know it sounds silly because it
No,
was
it's
a
not right.
cartoon, but you can either run from the situations of life or you learn from it. So many times we act as if we're victims of life. And
Right.
it's not the universe will teach us.
Right.
It,
Yes, when, like you were mentioning, what we believe we make reality. So on the physical level, like when I had to experience the sudden passing of my mother and I had three slip discs, the doctors just looked at the outer reality. The discs are slipped, you need to have surgery. And I didn't know if I could believe that energy would heal, but I figured it's worth trying. And through the power of directing positive energy towards my back and towards my whole body, wanting to live again, the slip disc went away. I healed. And there are
yeah,
people who have
yeah,
physical illnesses right now, and if they are allowing themselves to step away from the traditional mode of thinking and start, I'm not saying it's a cure all. If you break your leg, you still need to go to a doctor to fix the broken leg, but you can add healing energy through many different sources to make healing happen. And many times. That's why
yeah.
I feel like your program right now is probably meant for certain people to be listening to so they can step out of a certain mindset and allow themselves to be open to a new way of thinking, right?
Right. So many times, Lynn, people, stroke brothers, we're all feel like we're victims of life. And we're actually not. We're actually in control of our life. And we control that through the mind. We control that by the way we think. I mean, our topic of discussion is what we believe makes we make reality. So that it tells us that the way we think, what we think, change the what is around us. I'm telling you, 100%. Talk about rolling. During a time in my life, even after my near-death experiences, that shred of doubt. You can't change reality. You can't change success. You can mold your success by your attitude. Well, guess what? I'm here to tell you 100% can. You can change your reality by the way you think.
Yes. Napoleon Hill wrote, "What the mind can conceive and believe can achieve."
My
Sure, you've
thoughts
heard that.
black.
What the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. And there's also the saying, I think it was Henry Ford who said, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. So what we believe can be positive or negative. And that's why I'm so aware of this now, after having personally experienced change through positive belief, that when I'm around people who say something negative about themselves, I like to remind them, let's cancel that negative thought because we don't want to put it into our bodies and have it manifest in a negative way physically. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I can think of sometimes negative thoughts about myself, and then I have to be stepping out of that and become aware that I don't have to choose those thoughts. I can choose positive ones and use positive affirmations,
You
right?
know, I think
Thank you,
let
Sherry.
me pause for just 1 second. Let's give a shout out to our audience members.
Yes, I would.
Cheers to Sherry Patterson in Niagara Falls. Well, apparently, a few friends out there. If you could, I know who Marsha is. If you give her a shout out, I don't know where she is.
Thank you, Sherry.
And this is you have. I'm this here friend.
That's my Aunt Marcia. Hi, Marcia.
And then there's see, I'm awesome.
I
But
think it's
oh,
so
I
great
don't
that
know what to do with them.
you've
Okay,
mastered this
this
technology.
this is your friend.
Sure. Hi, Chris.
So there's a shop where I want to say, and then this. Just kind of remind me we're all connected, regardless of but mankind. You think if someone on the other side of the world is not connected to you, wrong. We're all connected because of one thing I'm the 100% fact. We're all spiritual beings learning to live inside a human body. We're all connected spiritually.
That's so true. And we don't always realize it. That's why it's so important when we think of things to try to think in a positive way because we want to send out those positive ripple effects, right?
Right. You had mentioned you wanted to read a couple excerpts out, but
Sure. So I have a couple. Well, I love reading positive stories and books because I know that every word we read, every thought that's spoken carries energy. So I like to put positive energy aside. And I just pulled out this one book, Discovering Your Soul Signature, let's see, by Panache Desai. It's a 33-day path to purpose, passion, and joy. And here's a few sentences from the book. Allow life to touch you. And when life touches you, meet it with softness. Meet it with authenticity. Allow your heart to merge with the hearts of people around you. See yourself in the faces of your fellow human beings. Just for today, live in the truth. There is nothing to defend. Live in the truth that vulnerability is peace. I thought that was a pretty big wow.
well,
So
that's a wow.
you know, one thing I have to say, just even opening ourselves up right here, Aaron, means we're both willing to be vulnerable. And I've been learning from some wonderful thought leaders that the best way to share your stories, which can change the lives of others, is not only to share your credentials, but to be vulnerable. Because we all connect more deeply at the heart than the mind. So, you know, when I share my personal experience, it hopefully can resonate with people because we've all gone through challenges, just like you've gone through so many challenges, but you're willing to be open and loving and giving so other people can get feeling good about themselves and inspire that, hey, maybe it's my life isn't so bad after all, and maybe I am here for a reason. You know, when my mother passed away, I thought, well, why am I even here anymore? Just because I still am deeply connected to her. And then when I was having that sudden, you know, ruptured appendix, I thought, you know, well, whatever happens, happen. We all have to go at some point. But I realized afterwards, I'm still here for a reason. So, and then having my son had the stroke, and he was actually very emotionally distraught because his best friend had died of a drug overdose. And the emotion, the
Who,
energy.
who, who was that?
My dear friend, Andrew's dear friend Cameron, who was 25, had died of a drug overdose. And so what you have here, what we believe we make reality. So I don't know what was going on in our son's mind at that time, but he may have been thinking, how am I going to live without my friend? You know, in your mind, you think things. And so a few months later, after his friend died, he had this stroke. And, you know, there's a great author who's still alive. She's 90 now, I think, Louise Hay, who wrote the book, You Can Heal Your Life. And she has found that every part of the body can be traced to emotions. So, for instance, when I had a three slip disc, the back represents foundation. So, if you feel emotionally that your foundation is rocky or not secure, you may have back problems. And in her book, she identifies what different illnesses can be traced to emotionally. I don't know what the emotional root of a stroke is, but you know, you can check out these things. Um, and I do believe there is emotion behind everything, whether it's cancer or back problem
And
or
that emotion is energy.
yes.
And
And so if we're meant to still be alive, then there's got to be a reason for us to learn how to heal and then teach others from our experience. We don't So we don't have to think of it as just bad, as you said. We can believe that there's a reason, like you said, a gift from the situation that we can teach others from. And
Yeah,
we can,
who would ever think for me? Stroke was the best thing that ever happened to me. Really, I'm one of the few people that probably say that. To me, my stroke is really the best thing that happened because it brought me into my destiny. It brought me into my spiritual destiny. It put me right here by you right now. It really has. Think about
can
it.
tell us, Aaron, because I'd like to, what happened before you had your stroke? What do you think might have been the reason behind it? If you were to step out of the body, so to speak, and think about your spirit, what lesson, why did you have to have this stroke?
Well, for me, it was a lot of stress about some very bad decisions I had made earlier on in my life. I cannot change them, but there was something that caused stress in me, massive amount of stress, and that probably triggered the stroke. But I think the greater point I want to bring is that you don't have to be victims of life. You don't need to be victims of your circumstance. You don't be a stroke victim. You don't be a lose all my money victim. Whatever it is, whatever that situation is in your life, you don't have to be a victim. Instead of crying, why me? Cry, why? Why is this happening in my life right now? What can I learn from this experience? Because, like you quoted Oprah Winfrey, everything things happen to us. Bad things happen for us, not to us. If you could change the way you look at that experience, somebody told you negative that I a lot of spiritual lessons are taught in hardship. And I think it's because of physical emotions. We have to learn to realize that just that they're not real. Fear is not real. Everybody know, you may know that the word fear is fictitious evidence appearing real. I'll say one more time, it's fictitious evidence appearing real. Meaning that those hard times in life, those difficult times, those times you feel like you're gonna snap or break, there actually could be one of your best learning experiences. I heard you talk about your mom dying, your son having a stroke, me having a stroke. You can learn from that. You can
Right.
run from it, and if you run from the universe, I assure you it will not stop until you learn. You might as well just pause, lean back, and learn from it. Because if you run from the universe and the universe is trying to teach you something, it won't go away.
You know, I want to take that a little further here. I love what you said that you can learn from everything. And people aren't always aware of the power of their energetic thoughts. When I doubted that an energy healer could heal me, because I know it sounds very woo-woo, I was directed to a book by a doctor, Masuro Emoto, Emoto. It's called The Power of Water. And he did scientific experiments with droplets of water. Have you heard about this, Aaron?
What is the name of the book?
No, the book is called The Power of Water, 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 Dr. Masuro Emoto. And I have another book here too on the power of thought. So what Dr. Masuro Emoto did was he took different droplets of water and he put them like on a slide. And he had people think negative thoughts at certain droplets. Negative thoughts can be worry, anger, hate, stress, anything. Okay, he had those isolated droplets of water with negative thought over a period of time. Other droplets of water, he and others thought positive thoughts, love, happiness, joy, peace. Then he looked under a special microscope at these droplets of water. Guess what happened?
What?
It's really interesting. I was just shocked when I heard this. So the droplets of water that had negative emotion directed at it over a period of time, they looked ugly under the microscope. They had pock marks and they just looked gray and dark. The ones that had lovely, positive, kind, loving, peaceful thoughts had beautiful crystalline star shapes. They looked gorgeous. And then the energy healer I work with said, do you realize that all of our bodies are primarily water? I forgot what the percentage is, maybe 70%. We're mainly water inside. So take this, put the two things together. If you allow yourself to direct negative thoughts towards yourself, what are you doing to yourself? Or you let other people's negative thoughts affect you. You're hurting yourself. But you can change your reality, as you say, by believing in loving thoughts. You're actually healing your body. Isn't that incredible? The
That
power of water.
that just sent me back. I was so powerful.
And then I just told another book. So when you put out to the universe, it's called the law of strategic attraction. What you put out to the universe, you attract more of that to you. So a friend of mine told me about this book, The Power of Eight by Lynn McTaggart. And there were scientific experiments done first on plants and then on people, where we got 8 people together. And any of you can do this. If you have someone who's in need physically or emotionally of healing, you gather at least 8 people together. In Judaism, they call 10 people a minyan, a group, to send prayers out. But 8 people thinking loving, positive, healing thoughts towards someone you care about for 10 minutes. And you do that regularly. And they have shown that these people, not only do the people start healing, but those who are directing out that positive energy also get healed. They've done this with plants, where they directed positive, loving thoughts towards plants and then negative thoughts towards other plants. And they found that the plants that had positive energy bloomed and looked much more vibrant. Isn't that amazing?
You know, that is amazing. I'm blown away. I'm just sitting there listening to all what they're saying. But just for those of you listening out there and you're watching this on replay, watch the YouTube replay. I'll upload this show to YouTube, and I get together with Lynn and we'll get all the links to the books we're talking about. And so I know Sherry Patterson was asking about the books. But again, we'll put it in the description in the YouTube video. And don't forget to subscribe to Stroke TV Foundation YouTube channel. Really,
Yes.
really important. But I forget that really just made me almost tingle, realizing that energy that we put out has such. I am now starting to understand energy and really, really how powerful it is. And you're talking about, I've heard the same thing with rice. That you take cooked rice. I forget, I don't know who did it, but they took cooked rice and they thought positive healing over the one jar of cooked rice, and then put negative healing or negative energy in the other jar of cooked rice. The negative healing and the negative energy cooked rice molded, turned brown, just went bad. But the energy of the rice that was left alone, left positive energy around it. A lot didn't mold, didn't turn bad at all. It's fresh, and it was great. So it's something really, really, our spiritual energy can. And what I want you to take away from this in your life is that your energy as a human being, and it's up here, it's in your mind, that energy affects the physical world. It does.
Exactly. You know, the other thing talking about energy is how we treat ourselves. And when we are angry at ourselves, you know, it pulls us down. I read another great book, which we'll put out there. It's called Radical Forgiveness by Colin Tipping. And when I was in a very down state after my mother's passing, I was feeling a lot of anger, even at my mother for passing. I mean, I didn't want her leaving. And we carry this negative emotion in our own soul until we learn to release it. And so I read this book, Colin Tipping, and he said just what you're saying, to look at everything as a gift, even when we're in a very difficult situation, and reflect what is the lesson we're learning from something challenging. And so I use that book to help me heal. And I think it's made a huge impact in even how I think about myself and other people. When I hear people saying negative thoughts about themselves and they don't even realize it, and they'll say, "Oh, I'm just bad at this." And I can say the same thing, "Oh, I'm bad at something." We are saying negatives that our brain is picking up because we are imprinting ourselves with negative thought patterns. We don't have to choose to say negatives. We can say, "Cancel, stop saying that," and say, "I love myself. I'm going to be patient with myself. I'm getting better every day." And by saying positive thoughts to ourselves, we're going to help ourselves and we'll help ourselves heal through everything, you know.
You talk about negative thoughts. If I was to pick one major common ground of church lovers around the world, they see themselves negatively. And I'm not talking to you, stroke survivor. The way you see yourself, the way you look in the mirror, there's two things. I am, and what follows I am is what creates your reality. I am depressed. I am sad. I
Right.
am really messed up. Whatever it is, you take the negative thoughts, you project them on your reality and your energy of your life. But now, watch this. I am wonderful. I am destined for greatness. I am successful. That will create that reality. And your energy will rise above the negative energy. Nay, I'm not saying it's easy. Roland used to always tell me, don't, it sounds easy, but it's not. You will have struggles because our minds have been trained from the time of school to think negatively about our own self, think negatively about situations in life. There are no bad things in life. There are no um I don't know how to say it. You think it's bad. It's the way you're looking at it. It's a way you
Exactly.
look at that situation.
You know, in fact, sometimes I've been reminded to catch myself. If you say something bad to yourself, think, are you being your own best friend? Would you talk like that to someone else? You know, how would you speak in a positive way to yourself? So that can make you be more aware to live consciously. I think that's what this is all about today, isn't it, Aaron? To live consciously, be aware of our beliefs so we can positively create positive realities for ourselves.
That really is true. There's a takeaway that I want everyone to take away. Quit being negative towards yourself. Stop being I want you to understand. I want you to say, I am. And many of you out there must know the power I am. Whatever you say after I am, you will be. And I am great. I am successful. I am financially secure. I am. I'm just saying you're creating your own reality by the way you think. And I'm going to go back to our subject that you could see over there. What we believe we make reality. What you believe about yourself. What Lynn believes about herself. Whatever strokes, what you believe about yourself, you create more of that. You attract it into your life.
And I want to add one more thing to that, Erin. I want everyone to know you are not alone. We all think we live in our own little worlds, and we do. In our mind, we live in our worlds. But I strongly believe we have spiritual guides. You can call them angels around us. And all we really need to do is open our souls up for guidance, to ask for help. When I was in the hospital and alone after recovering from a ruptured appendix, I just, in my mind, I called out for my mom. I knew she's had to be around me somewhere, and she appeared in two dreams. Now, I'm not saying you will necessarily have a dream, you may or may not, but whatever you need, I want you to be aware that there are loved ones on the other side, whether you know them from a past or not. I believe we're all encircled by loved beings who care for us. And when we are at a low state, our souls are vibrating at a low energy, and it's harder for beings on the other side to get through to us because we're so down, and they vibrate at a higher level. So if we can allow ourselves to open up and have some inner peace and love towards ourselves, we're actually allowing the other side to help us. And we can then attract more positivity to us. So I just want to encourage you all to realize you're not alone. There are a lot of loved ones around you who can help you if you're open to it.
Wow, that's pretty impactful. I don't sure if you ever watched Steve Harvey. He's the one that hosts Family Feud, but he's an incredible spiritual motivation speaker. And he says when you go into the room, take all those people with you because they'll for you. I want you to remember community. This is 100% truth. You are not a limited physical being. It's not you live and die. It's not like that. You are eternal. You're truth. You are eternal spiritual creature learning to live in the human body. And Lynn just said it. That your body dies, but who you are and what you are does not. It lives forever. And it's an energy. And this power energy is available to you right now. You could shape it, your life. My life, like I told Lynn last night when we were talking, my life is like watching a dream come true. I'm watching a movie. My life is amazing. Now I can sit there and say, oh, I'm just bad because I did this or did that in my past. I am not my past. I have a spiritual teacher that told me our past does not dictate your destiny. What you have done, anything, no matter how bad it is, does not dictate where you're going. If you open up to the spiritual energy realm of life.
This is true. In fact, every place has an energy. When you walk into a home or a building, if you're open to it, you can pick up the vibes of a place. And so I encourage you to be around people who make you feel good, be in places that make you feel good. Be aware that everything is energy, as Erin is saying, both beings, people, plants, birds, and things. So we can choose our reality, and I encourage you to choose wisely and listen to your heart. If you feel you want to be with someone, then you're with the right person. If you are around someone that doesn't make you feel good, then maybe you need to step aside because you're affected by other people's energies. And you want to fill yourself with positive energy.
That's really, I'm glad we're the show's over. But I think it's important that what Linda's brought up, community. Don't surround. I don't care if it's your family. I don't care if it's your friends. Don't surround your life with negative energy in your life. Life is too short. We're here for a limited amount of time on earth as human beings. And don't waste your time on chasing people that can walk into your life. There is a spiritual teacher I know that says if someone can walk into your life, let them walk. You don't want to chase down people not meant to be in your life. They're negative energy, a negative influence. Let them walk. I don't care what it is. Let them go away. Because if they were meant to be in your destiny, as Lynn Sanders says to me, they won't be able to go. They will do nothing but be able to participate in your life. But if they're able to walk away, they weren't meant to be in it. So, so Lynn, believe it or not, it's working out this time. I got a few minutes to do some housekeeping. I, I just can't thank you enough for being here. I
Thank
just,
you, Erin. It's such a pleasure to share my thoughts with you because we both resonate the same way with sending out loving energy to the world. I really love being with you because I know you're making a difference in touching so many people's lives around the world. And I also hope to be doing something like that as well with my program, The Difference Makers. And we all can make a difference. I think that's what
tell
you're about.
people about it. Tell people about that. Just make it real quick.
Yes, so I have been doing a program for several years, although it hasn't been as regular recently, where I interview thought leaders, both entrepreneurs and nonprofit leaders who are focused on doing positive actions in the world to inspire and motivate and transform lives. So next this coming week, I'm going to be interviewing three spiritual leaders, Jewish, Christian, and Muslim, and how they have created an interfaith group to help make this world a better place. And that's going to be Tuesday, 1 o'clock Central Time. And Erin, you said you were going to help me set it up because Roland had been doing all my setups for my shows, and I've been doing them now privately without having someone to technically do all the setup. But I know from my core, from what I've gone through, and you know this, that we all make a difference. We just need to believe that and be willing to step out of our comfort zone and go pursue our passion and make a positive difference in the world. Just have to be willing to move forward.
I mean, you could have scripted this show any better because it's so genuine and real. You could have scripted and just, Lynn and I didn't. Lynn and I were being authentic with you. We didn't plan it out or script this show. It's just being real. Thank you for that, Lynn. I need to do a little bit of housekeeping because we're down the last couple of minutes. But here's a shout out to Wonderful TV Network. Thank you, Boz, for allowing us to be part of you. Thank you for Lightning Stroke TV Foundation and Difference Maker Media for being part of you guys. We really appreciate it. We're excited about what's coming up.
Yeah.
And again, for those that didn't catch it, catch Wonderful Television. Lynn is going to program, if I remember, if I know right.
Wonderful Living TV is a program that's going to be carrying our shows. WonderfulLivingTV.com. And they found us through energy. Happening to find an article I'd written on my website at Difference Makers Media and wanted to connect with me, and then I referred them to you as well. You never know what the power of words can do, right?
But you do, I hate to go over it, but I cannot. But there is a little, I believe, that there's a little small voice of God inside of every human being on the face of the earth. Now, you could choose to stop it or choose to live by it. Meaning, people call it God, people call it intuition, people call it whatever. I'm saying if you get that feeling that you should go down that road, don't go down it. It's God trying to steal your life. Is available to you today. So, Lynn, thank you so much for being here. I love you, sister. Thank you so much.
I love you too, Erin. Thank you.
And I want to thank you, audience, for if you're hearing our voice, put in comments and tell us how you like the show, because then they're going to do it more and more together. And with that, she also wanted about me. We'll be putting all this information, the books, the up and coming show Lynn's doing with the interfaith thing in the face show. We'll be putting all the links within the YouTube video. So Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Stroke TV Foundation YouTube channel. And you're on Facebook, right? Then
Oh, of course. And I have a YouTube channel too under Lynn Sanders.
go
You
ahead.
can check it out. Thank you.
All right. So it's difference makers meeting on Facebook.
DaversMedia.com is my website. And people can get a free 7-step strategic story guide if they go to the page. Learn how to tell their story and build impact from it. Thank you, Erin.
All right,
It's really
thank you, Lynn. I appreciate being a great, really great energy we share. Thank you.
my pleasure.
All right. All right, community, that was amazing. I love my sister Lynn Sanders so much. And if you got take it with us, you have the power to control your own future. It comes down to this. The best way to predict the future is to make it. And you're not a victim of life, stroke life, non-stroke person. You're not a victim of your circumstances. You have the power inside yourself, spiritual energy, to change the way you think. And it's for you today, right now. So thank you again for being out there. Can smash that like button, share the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, look up Difference Makers Media. And love you guys. Appreciate being with us. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you.